Hello there, welcome to Nepi Invest. So in this video of Appendix 4Cs, I'm going to be looking at 5G networks. Their ticker code's 5GN. This actually, Appendix 4C, came a little bit late. I was looking for it for a while, and then I think it came on the 2nd of November, so a little bit later than it should have come in. In fact, at one point I thought it was going to come in at all because they are profitable at the moment, and sometimes when a company becomes profitable, and especially if they're being cash flow positive over a certain amount of quarters, they get told by the ASX they don't have to release an Appendix 4C anymore, and that's when you'd say a company's made it, and they don't have to produce a cash flow anymore. They've entered the big boys. The big boys don't have to do that. So let's get into 5G networks Appendix 4C for this quarter. So for disclosure purposes, I am actually an ex-shareholder of 5GN. I did buy in few years ago when they were about 40 or 50 cents, and then I did sell out at about $1. So I might have sold out a little bit too early because the share price has gone up as high as $2.40, but that's another story. So market cap of 187 million, receipts from customers 14.3, so that's actually quite stable over the last about 2 years or so. But they are cash flow positive. You can see that right at the bottom there. Cash flow positive in operations to the tune of 1.2 million. So one of the reasons I did actually sell out is because you can see this cash receipts history. It really took off around July 2018 to about January 2019. So it went from 2.4 million to 14.3 million in 2 quarters. And this is leveled off. In fact, the last quarter, 14.3 million, is exactly the same as January 2019 quarter, 14.3. So no growth in cash receipts. So one of the things I really like to see is a growth in cash receipts. It's one of my sort of checklists I do have, and 5G networks just didn't filter through that checklist. But in saying that, their operating cash flow, which I do have right at the bottom there, so they are operating cash flow positive for the last 5 quarters, as high as $2.5 million in a quarter. So I would like to see that number a little bit higher. But yeah, so they are cash flow positive. That's a really good positive, and they are bringing in a fair bit of cash receipts. They are talking about a takeover of Web Central. In fact, they do hold about 57% of Web Central, so I think that takeover more than likely will happen. And I'm just concerned that they're going to go through the acquisition route to increase revenue, increase operating cash flow potentially. But that's sort of a sign, potentially, it's just potentially so, just potentially at this stage, that maybe the organic growth of the company has really not been there. It hasn't been there for a while, but I don't think it's going to be there for a while. So they're going down the acquisition route to boost up cash receipts. That's just a little theory of mine, but may not be true. So this is some of the details from the report. So I mentioned they are doing a takeover from Web Central. So they did have 54.4 ownership at the time of this announcement. And the offer to close for the takeover bid was 2 days ago. So I'm recording this on the 12th of November. So 10th of November, they did release a few announcements in regards to this takeover. And they did say it's now over. And they do own 56% of ownership, and that 2 directors of Web Central have resigned in regards to this takeover offer. So Web Central used to be called Melbourne IT, then they changed the name to something else, and then they changed the name to Web Central. And it's not a good sign that a company keeps changing their names, and the share price has just gone down like a brick. It was like $3 or $4 a few years ago. Last time I looked, it was less than 10 cents. But in saying that, this could just mean 5G Networks is buying Web Central for a fairly good value, fairly cheap. So that's definitely the possibility. Well, I was looking at potentially buying Web Central a few months ago, and 5G sort of took my lead. Maybe I should have billed 5G Networks for a finder's fee. They also did another acquisition. So again, I was just maybe hinting. One of the things I was concerned about was they're going down the acquisition route to sort of buy growth instead of organically grow. So another acquisition with Co-Location Australia, and that should increase revenues by $4.2 million. And there's some synergies there. So I really like when companies mention synergies, sort of a buzzword that you'll find a lot when companies do acquisitions. They always mention synergies. Now they do have $47.5 million of cash, but that includes some of the placement proceeds which may go through to the acquisition costs. And they do have $3.9 million of debt. So even though they do have a market cap of $187 million, if you take away the cash and add back the debt, the enterprise value is only like $140 million or so. So this is their 1 year daily chart. This is from a few days ago. So I think the share price today was $1.66, so not much change. But you can see a really good growth from about April, just after COVID-19 panic, through to end of August. So the share price did increase by a threefold during that time. So usually when you see the share price increase by that amount that amount over a short period of time, you're always going to see a period of profit taking, a period of consolidation. And the share price now has pulled back to $1.60, which is a good, between $1.50 and $1.60 is a good price range for support. So at the moment, I'm not a shareholder of 5G. If you are a shareholder of 5G, leave a comment or so. Maybe I'm getting some things wrong, but it's not a company I'm following too closely at the moment. But it is a company I want to keep a little bit of an eye on, because potentially some of the acquisitions could come to fruition and provide a really good boost to the share price, good boost to the profitability, that sort of thing. That's all I've got on 5G Networks, 5GN. It's a company that I have held in the past. Maybe I'll hold in the future, but I don't hold right now. And again, I'm no expert when it comes to financial matters. So if you do need some financial expertise, make sure you seek out someone who does have their credentials. So that's all for 5G Networks, and look at their Appendix 4C for today. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.